Right, Jason, we are coming to you next because you're about to do some cooking with this week's special ingredients. Here's the deal. Each week, I'm going to pick an ingredient and ask our chefs to show us how they'd use it in a signature dish. Today, it's alphabetti spaghetti. Of course it isn't, it's beetroot. Jason, what are your feelings on beetroot? Are you a fan?
Yeah, for sure. Gosh, you know, I use it all the time. I love it. It's good for you, it tastes great.
And where do you stand on the beetroot sweet-savoury debate?
We've got a blood orange and beetroot sorbet on the dessert menu. It works really well. It's great.
Very nice. Do you like the sound of a beetroot in dessert, Richard?
I personally think it tends to lose itself. It reads well, but you don't really taste it. And, you know what I mean, but maybe today I'm going to be...
Well, Lisa, yeah, you're making... Are you not making
shocked,
a dessert?
You know?
Are you going to make a dessert?
I am, so but he's either going to love it or hate it, so I might be on guard behind my table by the end of it, but...
I get overexcited about beetroot. It's my favourite thing in the world. OK, Jason, what dish are you going to make with beetroot today?
So we're going to do roasted venison. Then we pan-fry the beetroot in honey spices. And then we're going to serve that with spice quince puree. And then we're going to make tiny little venison sausages from all the trimmings and all the insides of the venison. And that's it. That's our little signature dish with beetroot.
Delicious.
Jason's taking sweet yet earthy beetroot on a game old romp with venison. He's enriching his roots with a spicy honey and lavender sauce, and for extra chefiness, wait for it, there's a nice compressed pear. Beat that.
We've got the venison. We're going to roast that first, OK? So just the standard loin of venison, so that's there. So we're just going to quickly take a nice big piece off of that. This drives Richard nuts when you sort of waste all these trimmings. But I won't waste it, Richard.
Oh, he'd be making a hearty broth with that.
This is the tightest chef in Great Britain, you know that.
Waste not, want not.
Every night I catch Richard out the back of my restaurant looking through my bins to see what I've wasted.
Oh, it's you! In the night vision goggles.
It's all the trimmings he throws away. I run my empire on them.
Yeah. You're a trimming king, you're known for it. OK, so you're just going to brown that off a little bit.
Yep. A little bit of salt. I don't tend to use pepper on meat or fish. I class it as a spice, you know?
OK,
not
so...
a seasoning. So
yeah,
some chefs love it, I'm not a big fan of it.
OK.
So candied beetroot.
Yep.
In there. We've got normal yellow beetroot, and then we've got the red beetroot.
OK.
So I find, you know, these ones are a little bit more earthy, these ones are a little bit more sweet.
Yep.
Right, so let me go like so. Beetroots are roasted nicely in there, like that. And then with the trimmings, we made a sausage. So in there is a little bit of the heart, the kidneys, that type of stuff, and then we just roast them off in a little bit of butter. In there like that.
What venison is it? Roe deer or...?
Yeah, this is roe deer.
Roe deer, yeah.
And then, as they're roasting, in goes...
Oh, lovely.
Loads and loads of honey with all the flavourings from the coriander seed, salt and lavender. Right, so that's cooked. We're just going to let that rest.
Lavender is something that I've never had paired with beetroot before, so I'll be interested to see.
Now, we've taken some pears here. Pears always go really well with game, with duck, venison, anything like that. And we've just slightly pickled them. These have just purely been left raw. So we've taken a bag, we've peeled them, put them inside what's called a compression. So basically it's salt, lemon juice and sugar. But we've added a little bit of vinegar to this. So we leave it for 48 hours. And then you end up with this lovely pear, which we just take nice pieces of like that to be able to put around the plate. Because you can see already. Can you see? You want to taste?
Yeah, I do. It does look really good.
And see how they go translucent? Can you see?
So
you see that?
delicious.
And that's from the compression.
So that sort of, rather than cooking it, you've used a chemical process essentially to break down some of the...
Yeah, exactly that.
The structure of it.
On here we've got quince, and then we take... You'll like this, Richard. This is nothing more than all the beetroot trimmings chucked into a pan, filled with water...
He's excited.
...and reduced for 7 hours.
I love it.
So, in and around...
Oh, hello, look at that.
Just to create a little bit of a decoration. And it's also got a lot of flavour. It's not just there for decoration, it's got really good flavour.
It's not a smear, is it? That's basic abstraction.
In Jason's case, I mean, Jason, you know, not only a master culinary craftsperson, but he's an artist as well. You're allowed to be an artist when you are that master craftsperson.
A few little bits of the pear. Around go the little sausages. And just before we sauce it, around the plate, little beetroot discs. Like so. It's so pretty.
Round of applause. Beautiful. Clever. Let's get stuck in. What, are you going straight for venison?
No, I'm in there. Don't mess around. That venison is so tender. You can see how perfectly it was cooked, and the beetroot just really marries up quite well because that earthiness with it and the sweetness that's come off the venison is great. I think it's beautiful.
Fruit, roots, and a beautiful piece of wild meat. I mean, you know, it's a lovely, lovely harmony. Beautiful.
That was a treat. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Earlier I asked this lot to get creative with this week's signature ingredients, and Jason Atherton showed us his luscious dish with beetroot. Richard Corrigan, now it's your turn. So what are you going to do for us?
Beetroot, red onion, calf's liver, and sage.
Richard is giving a beetrooty twist to classic liver, onion and mash. He's cooking his beetroot down with red onions to create a shocking pink sauce for his calf's liver and good old-fashioned champ.
Just a little tip, to soften the onions, just in hot water, just bring up, and they'll just kind of melt down.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get some of my beetroot.
So this is just raw beetroot.
This is just raw beetroot, thinly sliced into nice little strips. In they go.
Do you like raw beetroot, Lisa?
Yeah, I love it. I think it's great. Just raw beetroot, lovely dressing on the top.
This is
Hands
very
down,
good.
it's a winner.
Now, into that, sage. See, I just want you to taste that already.
Yeah.
Because onion tastes in its natural state. That's just warm water on it.
That is really good.
It just
I'm actually
tastes-
surprised by that.
In with a little bit of sugar. Just a dash.
Sherry vinegar.
Just a dash of sherry vinegar. I'm just going to transfer that now to this one. And that just gets rid of the moisture as quick as I want it. 2 small nubs.
Yeah.
What that does, it just gives a little bit of richness in there. For the liver,
Finely sliced, presumably to reduce cooking time.
this will need very little cooking.
As a rule of thumb, per side, how long would you cook it for?
Oh, half a minute each side.
So like a minute steak, really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, Sue, I like my liver just slightly less than rosé as well.
So still kind of jumping a little bit.
Still jumping is delicious. And the whole thing about flowers, some people putting flowers on things.
No?
You're nodding your head there, yes
Yeah,
or...
see, I don't use flour either.
No?
It's interesting, you know.
It's seasoned straight in.
Because it clags up the sauce a bit, or...?
Yeah, there's a couple of things. You get that crust on the outside of it sometimes, and if you don't have an even flour, you get lumps left on it. And I
Yeah,
think
that's
it's
no
just
good.
best done like he's doing it. The interesting thing about what you're doing is with the beetroot and stuff, you could actually use different livers. So you could use lamb's liver, you could do little chicken livers, you know, different ones that you could use on there if you didn't want calf's liver.
But it's...
All about the flavour.
It's true,
It really is all about flavour, you know. Just put it on there.
Right, let's plate that up. God, it smells nice.
And then straight on there.
Oh.
Spoonful of mash, of course.
A little bit of champ.
I mean, liver, onion and mash, you know.
If it ain't
Where are you
broke.
going to be without it, you know? There you go.
Beautiful. A picture. Round of applause for Richard. Stunning. Should we taste?
Yep. It's looking good, Richard.
It does look
Doesn't it look beautiful?
Beautiful colours.
How's it tasting to you, Lisa?
I think the liver goes really well and complements it, but the beetroot's just as good on its own. You can tuck into a pan of that, whether it's cold or hot.
It's
And
really
then put it
good.
with different things.
Yeah.
So it's a great way of cooking
And
it.
if you were going to eat it cold, up the seasoning, up the vinegar.
Yeah.
Just to give it that little bit more oomph.
That vegetable, you know, the onions and the beetroot has created its own sauce, but it just tastes great.
It does. Looks beautiful. Time now for the last dish of the day, and what a dish she is. Do you see what I did there? Lisa, how are you going to use beetroot today?
Well, I'm going to do something a little bit different with beetroot. I'm going to do a dessert.
Lisa's whipping her beetroot up into a cappuccino dessert, no less. Listen up closely. There's a chocolate creme brulee, tiny beetrooty balls, or caviar if we're being chefy about it, a blushing beet ice cream, and a honey foam, which is really just boiled up aerated cream.
Chocolate has a great marry with beetroot. Just the fact because it's quite sweet and bitter, and then you've got that earthiness of the beetroot. So I've done a little chocolate brulee, so using something that's quite classic. To go with that, we've got some honeycomb. The brulee is the base note, and then we're going to finish with a little bit of beetroot ice cream.
Delicious.
That we've made. Pickled beetroot. They've got a lovely foam here of honey, and then a little bit of beetroot caviar.
So take me through the beetroot caviar.
Yeah, this basically is just beetroot juice and lime juice, and we use something called agar. Agar's a fantastic product because it's vegetarian, so we use it a lot at the restaurant instead of gelatine. It's quite a versatile thing, depending on how much setting ingredients you put into it. So you just pop it in. You need a bowl of cold oil. Pop into your freezer. It doesn't freeze, but it goes nice and cold.
OK.
Because you need that for when you pop them in.
So when you put your balls in, they contract?
Exactly.
I don't know why you're laughing, it's science. It's simple science, and that's never a laughing matter.
So basically what you do is you just drop it into there.
Oh, perfect, look at that. And as soon as it hits that really cold oil...
It's set. The biggest thing about doing stuff like this, for me, it's quite gimmicky, but you never do anything that doesn't taste of what it should do.
Yeah.
And it adds different textures, so you've only got the 3 flavours going on there.
Great.
So we've got the little brulee pots here.
Yeah.
A little bit of golden granulated sugar.
I sense a blowtorch moment.
Yep. OK, so all you're doing is just caramelising the sugar on there. It gets a little bit of a snap when you're going through. And I think the interesting thing about it is it's such a classic technique, tipped with modern techniques. So here we've got a lovely beetroot ice cream.
The colour of this, it's going to blow your mind. Look at this.
Basically, all this is egg yolks, cream, a little bit of stabiliser, and some glucose.
I'm having some of that. I don't care who
And then
knows it.
pop it into your ice cream machine.
I can't resist pink food. That is actually rather savoury.
Yeah.
It's absolutely delicious. It's you get dairy and you get beetroot, but there's not a lot of sweetness in there.
And I think that's the thing about working with the contrast of the flavours. You've got to be able to do something like that. So it's just a bit of ice cream in the bottom. Yeah, I'll give you that to eat away with on the corner.
And I will eat all of that. Yeah. I'm known for it, love. Don't leave me
likes
with
the
a
ice cream onto a winner. Right, so you've got the ice cream in the bottom. A little bit of the caviar on top there.
Salty as well.
And then we just crack a little bit of honeycomb in there as well. OK, so this basically is a honey foam.
You're dead right, it really is savoury, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really is. But it's very creamy.
So there we've got our little pots. So we put those on there like that. Slide those forward. And then all we're going to do is get the beetroot powder. Put those onto the honeycomb so you get a little bit of a beetroot flavour when you're tasting it.
Taking a look at that, absolutely exquisite. Round of applause, please. Thank you. Let's come in and taste this.
Right in there, Richard. I really like it. I like the fact that it does play with your mind. All the flavours work really well. Yeah, that's really interesting.
Richard, you're a tougher nut to crack. Come on, he's finishing it, though, to be fair.
Going back for a second, that must be good.
Kind of brings out the child in you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, sweet, savoury, creamy. I think it's delicious, really.
It is delicious.
It really is great. Beautifully constructed.
Beautiful. Lisa, that is boss. That's all we've got time for today. We've got to leave it there, as I've, quite frankly, got a lot of washing up to get through before Judge Judy gets her studio back. Thank you, chefs. Thank you, cooks. Thanks for watching. Laters, friends. Goodbye.